Just gonna go home. Anyway, welcome to the review of the K2 30100S. Stay there because I'm gonna tell you exactly what I think about this.
8 times the power.
Hola YouTube, my name is Ricardo Lino and I'm a wheel addict. Welcome to the review of the K2. Oopsie. Welcome to the review of the K2 30100. What is that? Well, check this out. It's these crazy skates. And yes, it's a one-sided frame. Before I start with the review of these, let me tell you that in the end of this video, I'm going to be giving away 2 K2 frames from my last challenge. It's called Flat Ground Skating Challenge. So if you want to see who won those, well, stay till the end of the video. Okay, so this is not the type of skate that I usually use. Why is that? Why don't I usually use a skate like this? Well, K2 consider these as a lifestyle skate. That's the department that they list this skate as, which is obviously something that you can use as a fitness skate, but it's also not as sturdy, not as strong as the urban skate. But I went out to test it, so I'm gonna start with the wheels. This skate comes with 100mm wheels, as the name say, K2 Trio S100. There's a different version which is not the S, which has a double-sided frame. This one has a one-sided frame, so it's the S version. Now, these wheels, like I said, 100mm, but they do not say what is the durometer. They feel more on the art side, I would say more like 88, maybe even a 90, but there is nothing written on the wheels about the durometer. And also when I went to the website, I couldn't find out anything about the durometer of the wheels. Now the urethane that you have here, if you look at the core, you will see that this core is used by other brands such as FR, Seba, even Micro use the same. Yeah, even Iper use the same core. So this is a made in Thailand wheel and I actually really like these wheels. Now the thing is, in black, these wheels are usually very grippy for the good and the bad. I was actually able to do some sliding with those. It took me a little bit to get used to it, but obviously it was the first day and I usually say on the first day that you use a pair of skates, it's not very easy to get into sliding, so that was it. The profile of the wheel, it's not very pointy, it's more like round, and I actually really like that. It kind of feels like I have the same type of grip on the wheel. It doesn't matter which inclination the skate is, it has the same feel, even if yes, when you roll it should be like this, but then you go from edge to edge and the wheels feel about the same. They roll super fast. They come with ILQ7 bearings from Twin Cam, which is normal on the K2 skates. They usually work with Twin Cam. Twin Cam is the bearing brand and usually K2 works with them, such as other companies. I know that Rollerblade, Powerslide, Seba, FR, Micro, all these companies work with Twin Cam because they are very good bearings. So in the bearings department, nothing to complain about. Same with the wheels. They were actually very grippy at first, but after a while I was able to slide with them. I do not know the durometer, so if someone from K2 is watching this, which I know that they will, please let me know about the durometer of these wheels, or if someone else, which is not from K2 but know the durometer of the wheels, please write it in the comments. Then going to the frame, it did surprise me. I was very scared. This is something that it's pretty common on the biking industry to have a one-sided fork. On the skate industry, not that normal. This is the first one of these that I see. I know that they did these with 4 wheels. They had a little bit of a problem. They recalled some of the products, but with this one, well, no problem at all. I was scared that it wasn't stiff enough, but it does have like a double-sided wall on one of the sides. So right next to the wheels, it's flat, and then on the outside, it's edgy, like making a double-sided wall. A little bit of what Ricardo does with the downhill frame, and I think they also do it with other frames to increase the stiffness of this frame. And again, I can't really complain. I even did some jumps, so it did work. That's good. But there was something here that I didn't like that much. So let me just grab the other skate. These skates come with a brake, and that's great because if it's a fitness skate, most of the people that will buy it will need the brake, so that it's amazing that they come with the brake. Now the thing is, when you take the brake, you need to use another screw. This is pretty common on other skates. See, this is the screw that comes to put the axle in place when you are using the brake. When I take the brake off, I'm pretty sure it was in the box, but just like always, I open the box, I look at those things and I put it somewhere and I couldn't find the screw. Without me finding the screw, guess what happened? I had to get the spacer that usually comes inside the brake, put it here, and then use the exact same screw, which is obviously not the best solution, right? Especially when you're talking about this type of system, you don't want any of these DIY type of situations. Would be better to have the right screw. Obviously this is my problem, but then what I did realize is that the screw doesn't have the regular size. Now, a lot of the K2 skates come with this axle in 6mm, but on these ones they come with 8mm, which I really enjoy, and obviously 8mm is going to be stiffer, stronger, which you need for something like this. It's very important that this axle is strong, but the other side being so slim, maybe it's the only way to make it work, because they need a certain amount of metal on that axle, and that's why it needs to be like that. I wish it was easier to find the right screw. Maybe I'll find it one day. But this works, and even like that, felt no problems at all. Now, still on the frame, what was actually very interesting, and it's been very interesting for me these days, is to actually find out that I'm starting to enjoy more and more and more long 3-wheel frames with space in between the wheels. I wouldn't expect to say that, because I was a huge advocate of saying like, yeah, the cool thing about 3-wheel skates is like they're so short, so easy to maneuver, which is true. Like a shorter wheelbase, it's actually a lot easier to turn. But this, well, this was stable and it was low, and it's not like a 4-wheel. Like on the 4 wheels, somehow when the wheels start getting used, you get kind of like that natural rocker, which makes it somehow smoother to turn. On these ones, the space in between the wheels is a bit longer, so even if the wheels get used, there's always a bigger base on the ground, making it more stable. In theory, and that's also what you feel. I actually really enjoy how they roll. They rolled fast, they rolled smooth, and they were stable. Obviously, for certain types of skating wouldn't be the ideal skate. I wasn't doing any gazelles or anything like that, like spinning on one foot, which is totally doable. It's gonna take a little bit more, okay? But that was it. So that surprised me. I'm enjoying more and more long wheelbase with smaller wheels tri skates. I wouldn't expect to say that, because this is as long as a 3x125. This is a 255mm frame. Maybe, because according to what I was looking on the website, it's the exact same frame for all the boot sizes. So if you're gonna be like a 47 or a 48, it's probably going to be like that. It doesn't really look like it's that long. It's gonna look a little bit disproportional. It's gonna look like the wheels are too small, maybe, I don't know. And if it's going to be a really short skate, it's gonna maybe feel like a speed skate, which is a huge frame. I don't really know. I know that in my size, it kind of feels like it makes sense. So for me, I can't really complain about it. Now, this boot is UFS. I haven't tried it yet, but I think that this frame will be able to fit on most of my aggressive skating boots. Let me try it. How cool would this be? Maybe I can do it. Let's see. I'm at the moment, while I'm doing this, I'm actually doing a live stream of this that I'm filming right now, like the behind the scenes, like the whole raw. I'm doing it on for the members of this YouTube channel. So if you want to see these videos first, if you want to see this type of stuff, on the side of the subscribe button, there's a join thing. If you press on that, you have access to a couple of different things that I usually don't post here on the channel. It's a lot of behind the scenes, and I do a lot of morning coffees with the members. Like, it's more like talking and trying to get like a closer relationship with some people. So if you're keen to see how it works, well, go for it. I don't know if it's gonna look anything cool or not, but original it's going to be for sure. What about these bit elements, huh? This is actually very cool. Now I wish I didn't paint them black, because this would look very sick on this skates. I'm not talking about the frames anymore, but I'm about to speak about the boot. So as you can see here, it's a UFS boot. You can even probably put a sole plate here if you want, and check how cool would this be as an aggressive skate. It's totally doable. But that's not what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about these, as I started this video, as a fitness skate. So I'm going to start by talking about the structure of this boot. You see this elastic here? This elastic is pure image. I don't really think it has a function, but it looks cool. So when you skate from the top, which is always very important, the way that the skate feels, or when you look from the top, how you... I don't know if you feel the same as me, but when I look at my skates from the top, I like to look at them and feel good. That's me. Maybe there's more people out there with the same thinking, or with that this also happens to them. It happens to me. So I like the shape of the boot looking from the top, and I like this elastic here. It looks cool. It looks futuristic. I guess it looks up to date if you look at the sneaker industry. Then the laces. It's, you know, the fast lacing. You pull these and they all just go through. It's one of those that if you pull, and it can be laced all the way to the top, which is actually very important, because the first time I put them on, I didn't lace them all the way up and they felt completely different. So if you use these skates, always lace them all the way to the top. This is very important. It does feature this cuff, K2 call it the urban cuff, which is supposed to be stiffer and more supportive than a fitness cuff. But at the same time, it also doesn't feature like a super strong front part. Now, the next thing. These skates do not have one single buckle. Everything is full-on strapped. So you have the first strap, which is the 45-degree strap, and the function of this one is to keep your heel in the right position, and it does work. Can't really complain about it. Then this one, the one that actually gives you the main support, it's the cuff one. In most of the skates you have a buckle. In a lot of the fitness skates or urban skates you have a ratchet buckle, which actually even allow you to crank it a little bit more. So here you're gonna need to be a bit smart with the way that you do it. There's some techniques that you might need to use. Usually what I do is I pull it all the way up, and then I use this part of my hand against it to create a little bit of leverage, because you don't want these skates to be loose. If you look at the amount of plastic that you have here, it's not a lot. Even if the foams are a bit stiff on the outside, it's not the most supportive skate skeleton wise. So the skeleton that you have, like the plastic structure, it's basically the back, the heel cup, and the sole. So you want to make sure that these straps are in the right position. The material of the straps, it's actually very, very cool. It's slim, but it feels super strong. And then it has that rubbery feeling on top. It does feel good. It feels high quality. Then there's this one. And this is something that, in my opinion, changes completely the look of this skate. And I love it. I really like these. And I think it was very smart from K2 to use it. And I can see myself using these in future skates. Now, the thing is, when you use these little top strap on a skate that it could not be as stable, these will make the skate feels a little bit more stable, because you're going to be more in contact with the liner, with this foam piece. So basically you don't have just the support from the skeleton of the skate, from the cuff, but then this top piece will make you really be like in contact with the liner, and it makes the skate feels more supportive. It's a little bit taller. Now, very important, I was first skating them with these socks, very cool socks from Caleo from Brazil, and check this, you see this all red? That's because I didn't pull the socks high enough. So when you use these skates, it's a fitness skate, and a lot of people like to use those fitness running socks. It's not a do with these things. With these skates, you really need to use higher socks that go above. It's with other skates. All the other skates, you always usually want to use higher socks than the skate. But on these ones, especially because of this top piece, you want the socks to be a bit taller maybe. Okay. Now, something that I didn't like that much, even if I like the top strap, somehow it kind of felt that it stays on a round piece, so it's very easy that it slides up. It doesn't really slide up, but it stays in a part that it doesn't feel like it's stable enough. Maybe if this buckle was just a tiny bit lower, would be in a place of the skate that this wouldn't happen, or maybe in bigger sizes that will not happen. But if they're using the same thickness on these straps, maybe on the smaller sizes will also be worse. I don't know. I didn't have access to the other sizes, so I don't know. Now, another detail that I really enjoy about these skates is it's common on K2, but all these gray parts that you see, either here on the back, but also here on the heel, they're reflective. So as a fitness skate, this is actually very important, because if you're going to be skating the city, you want to be seen. So that is very cool. One last thing, the material used on the liner, it's some type of microfiber, but when you try to rub your finger on it, it doesn't slide the same as some of the higher end skates. And I'm not saying that this is budget material, I'm not saying it's like a cheap thing, but it doesn't slide the same way, and it somehow creates a little bit of friction, meaning that if this goes against your skin, like I said previously, it might make some damage, at least while they're new. Probably with time they will just get like a lot smoother. Other than that, it doesn't allow you to change any of these straps, which is somehow a no-no, because everything it's either stitched or riveted, and that would be a cool thing to be able to at least change if something breaks or if something rips or something like that. This is just an opinion. This strap here is very slim, but it does the function. This one also does the function, which is when you pull it, it keeps the thong in the same position. And it comes with, let me just try to take this out, the insole. The insole is simple, just a simple insole. Just foam, not too soft, but also not the hardest one, not like a super fit, which is like carbon and all that, but it's also not like the softest one, which I'm not a huge fan of those super soft insoles, because they also go super fast. So it's a common insole. I think it's a good insole for this type of skate. And now let me go back to this one. Let me talk about the whole skate, the whole piece. Now, how did it felt? Because that's what most of you guys might want to know at the moment, right? So the boot felt supportive enough, especially for this type of skating. I was super scared that when I would try to do some things like that would apply more pressure, like a couple of jumps. I don't really jump that much, but I'm a heavy guy. So if it handles me jumping 4 or 5 stairs, it will handle most of the guys. That's just how it is. But again, I didn't skate for a long period of time. I tried to push them a little bit. I did a couple of slides. That was another thing that I was a little bit scared, like a little bit of like some slides, because when you slide, you apply a lot of torsion into the frames, and for a one-sided frame it was a bit somehow in your head you always think like, is it going to be okay? Well, it was really good. Can't really complain. I didn't felt like the frame was bending or anything like that. So when it comes to that, it felt good. So frame felt stiff, it felt responsive enough. I said it before, long small wheels frame somehow felt stable, which is very cool, especially if you're going to be training. I didn't felt like the wheels were too small and I could get stuck on cracks or anything like that. But again, I wasn't skating like the roughest material, but I don't think if you're going to be using this as a fitness skate, you're going to go to the roughest place. The wheels, well, I can't really say if they're going to last a long time, but they felt on the more like on the hard side. Being on the hard side, usually they last longer. Bearings good, roll super fast, supportive enough. Again, especially because of these top strap made me feel a bit more like that. Now, the other two things that I could talk about, one is the ventilation. It didn't really felt like it was the most ventilated skate. It's a lifestyle skate. As a lifestyle skate, it's not as breathable as it would be if it was a fitness skate, but I think it works super well. I see that this material is supposed to look super futuristic and it's supposed to be more like a Nike shoe or something like that, but in the end I don't see a lot of ventilation here. I don't see any holes here underneath or some of the stuff that you see in a lot of the fitness skates. I don't see it on this skate. So I don't think it's a very ventilated skate, and it's a very tall skate. This is one con that I would say. It's a K2 skate, and none of the K2 skates allow you to change the liner, which is, it's very cool. It's something that they've been doing since the beginning. But as a fitness skate, if you're not allowed to change the liner, it's kind of like having the same shoes forever without washing them. I don't know, you might need to find a solution, either getting like a boot dryer or something like that. So you don't want to skate every single day with these without doing something about it, or at least get some of those, you know, those little things that you put inside that kill the bacteria, or at least doesn't let them smell. Because if you're going to be skating every single day with this skate not being that breathable, such a tall boot, that might get into something. And other than that, the other thing that I could speak about, but I don't know yet, it's how long they're gonna last. If you're gonna be using them as a fitness skate, they should be okay. If you're gonna be using them as an urban skate, I don't think that these lycras here, or even like the non-removable straps, this is not a skate for urban skating, in my opinion. This is a very, very cool looking skate, and it can be a cool skate for a lot of people out there. Now, I need to give the frames away, but it's getting super late. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna end this video, and right after ending this video, there will be the roulette, and then there will be two names. Those two names, here's what they need to do. Send me a DM on Instagram, and I will put you in contact with K2, and the two of you will get K2 frames. You can choose in between the K2 Trio S frame, which is the one-sided frame, the R100 or the R80. They're both UFS rockable frames, but you might have seen the last video, and that's why you competed on this K2 challenge. Now, that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did enjoy this one, do not forget to subscribe to this channel. If you want to see what's happening behind the scenes on that one, well, maybe press on that join. Make sure to become a member of this channel. There's a couple of different tiers. I have my first student. I have a student. He's from Costa Rica. His name is Luis, and it's awesome because I'm actually spending a little bit of time with him virtually online, giving him some tips. So that's actually something that I enjoy to do. Now, other than that, just don't ever forget why we all started skating, and that it's because it's fun. Cheers! And if you're one of the winners, send me a DM. Boom, we got this. Okay, so it's 3:30 in the morning, and the video is actually done. I've edited the whole video, but now I need to give the 2 frames from K2, and I also need to give the prize from the last video that was sponsored by Bladeville. And I said we would make a prize from Bladeville and from myself. So from that video, the winner was Sally MC. She had the most votes in the comments. So Sally MC, please send me a DM so that we can organize your prize. And now let's see who's the winner of the K2 challenge. Okay, all the participants are there. And the first winner from the K2 challenge is Vaulus 1988. Now I'm gonna take him, and I'm gonna keep the wheel with all the other participants, and the winner is Skate Illusion. That's it, guys. Contact me, send me a DM on Instagram, and I'll organize everything for you guys. Cheers.
It got a little longer, so